strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay in time. Always on time or you don't pay in time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
My father started Williams Jewelers in 1947 as a humble little neighborhood jewelry shop, and I opened our Cherry Creek North store in 1973. I'm Bruce Williams.
And I'm Michelle Williams. I literally grew up here in the jewelry business, grading diamonds and gemstones and designing custom jewelry for families just like yours.
Here at Williams Jewelers, you'll find our curated collections, including Hearts on Fire, Liga Bahar, Sloan Street, Mastaloni pearls, and dozens more.
And a diamond and bridal department with the latest engagement ring styles and wedding bands from Tacori, A. Jaffe, and Gabriel & Company.
Add to that Tag Heuer sporting watches and pre-owned Rolex timepieces, all at the guaranteed best prices in Colorado.
At Williams Jewelers, we're proudly old school Cherry Creek North, where people and sweet puppies are always welcome.
And where you'll always be treated just like our father would.
Like family.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Every day, cyclists across Colorado are seriously injured by careless drivers. I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting to make those drivers and their insurance companies held fully accountable. We know these cases, we know how to win them, and we won't stop until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you've been injured in a bicycle accident, call the Wilhite Law Firm today, 303-GOOD-LAW, or visit wilhitewins.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the 2026 Broncos schedule. Here's John Davis and Chad Enns.
The schedule is out, Chad. And as we heard the fellas before us talking about it, it is fascinating what the Broncos have been given by the NFL, but it's kind of, I mean, that's the teams that you play. It's kind of done by that. The video is out. Peyton Manning is in it. We have not seen the video, but Chad, what do you say off the top? So you can't control who you play. That's predetermined. So we knew who the Broncos would play.
And we knew home and away.
Yeah, we knew home and away. But the order of these games, we're going to run through it now, and then we're going to focus on chunks of it. But you ready for this? At week 1 at Kansas City, Monday Night Football, we knew that. Week 2, Jacksonville Jaguars. That's home. Week 3, home against the Los Angeles Rams. Week 4, you go to San Francisco, play the 49ers. Week 5, at Los Angeles. Week 6, Thursday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks. Week 7, at the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks is a home game. Week 9, you play the other game against the Chiefs. That's home. That's week 8, excuse me. Week 9, at the Carolina Panthers. There we go. Week 10 is the bye week. Come out of the bye week, you've got the Raiders at home. Then Black Friday, Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh. Then they come home week 13 against the Dolphins. Week 14 at the Jets. Week 15 at the Raiders. Christmas Day, home against the Buffalo Bills. Followed that, the Broncos go to the Patriots, then they end with the Chargers. So you close with the Bills, the Patriots, and the Chargers. So that was a lot. Obviously, I just read off 17 games. The first 6 is kind of what's got everybody talking, Chad. So I'll throw it to you, though, first, before we get into the first 6. When you first see just this whole schedule as a whole, what's your thoughts?
Now it's real. We knew it was going to be difficult. We knew it was going to be a first-place schedule. We knew that playing the NFC West was going to be tough, but when you see how it shakes down and you start thinking about just the razor-thin margins that decide NFL games between good teams, There's a lot of coin flips on here, man. There's a lot of coin flips depending on who's healthy what week, who's active, what happens the week before as to where a team plays and where they travel next, the mileage that they're logging, fatigue, that kind of thing. And Sean Payton cannot afford to start slow again. A historically slow starter cannot start slow with those first 6 weeks of the season.
He's lights out in October. And almost literally,
he's the best.
He's the best all time
there's ever been
in October.
In October,
he's the greatest of all time. So no, it is. It is a lot of coin flip games. It's a lot of games. Look, the Broncos know how to win close. A lot of people said, well, the Chiefs won all those close games and then they came back to earth the following year. I don't buy into that. The Chiefs won those games 2 years ago by close scores, by kind of really honestly fluky things. The Broncos were winning the games last year, so it could be a lot of that again. The first 6, everybody's focusing on. 2 of the first 3 are night games. So you've got at Kansas City week 1. When you look at that, let's do that Monday Night Football, week 1. At Kansas City, you come home against Jacksonville, who snapped your big win streak. Then you're home against the Rams. That's a really good team. Sunday Night Football. Then you're at the 49ers, at the Chargers. Then you go Thursday Night Football against the Seahawks. So that right there, week 5, you're at Los Angeles. And then you come home 4 days later and play the defending Super Bowl champs. That right there is tricky. So if their first 6 games, 3 of them are night games. They're only playing 2 in the regular. So you were talking about that just now with these coin flip games. What did the team do the previous week? Of these first 6, what part of it concerns you the most besides, and you can't say all of it.
Rams, Niners, Chargers, back-to-back. That is going to be 3 teams that are really going to push you. And I don't necessarily think the Rams are the most physical team up front. They're very good. I mean, there's a reason why they were the favorite to go to and win the Super Bowl through most of the playoffs last year before they fell to Seattle. But they're going to push you and they're going to score points, and then you're going to follow that up with very physical games against the 49ers and the Chargers.
And the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy on the Seahawks. Like,
okay.
I've heard you and Zach talking, and in full respect to Mike McDonald, what he's built, they are the defending Super Bowl champions. I think they're in for a massive drop-off. Massive.
That's how Will was saying
that. Yeah. I think they're going to be, scratching and clawing to make the playoffs type of team in that division, 9-ish wins,
division,
10-ish
yeah.
wins. But yes, another very, very physical team in that stretch right
week.
After you play the Chargers, who are as physical as anyone.
Yeah, and you'll have them on a short week, but I agree that California, they're going to be the California Denver Broncos there for those 3 games. You got to play these California teams. Here's what concerns me, Chad. Zach and Will were talking about it. It's something you and I have talked about a lot. Sean Payton slow out the gate. Week 1 against Kansas City at Arrowhead, it's not a must-win. I mean, week 1 is a must-win. That's a lot. But you drop that, you got a short week, and you got to play a team that you had nothing for in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, people were saying the Broncos were tired. They were missing tackles. I saw a team that couldn't get a stop. So you rapidly become 0-2, and then you've got to play the Rams on Sunday Night Football. That's the game you got to win to not let the season, because that's one of those when you go 0-3 statistically, playoffs and everything get pretty impossible. So you got to come out there against Kansas City. To me, that's the one that I'm looking at, that Kansas City Jacksonville chunk, because Kansas City Mahomes, the knee's still there. We don't really know what they look like in a lot of places. I know they have Kenneth Walker, but that's a familiar matchup. That's a team you know. I look at that Chiefs game. Boy, if you can start right and kind of undo what Sean Payton has, you set yourself up better for the rest of this gauntlet. So that Chiefs to Jacksonville turnaround, that's my big concern.
Historically, week 1 of the season is the most wackadoo of every year.
Yeah, the Patriots beat the Bengals a couple years ago.
The Raiders beat the Patriots last year.
Yeah, exactly.
You just get odd results. You get very strange things happening depending on what happens in the preseason and how teams start and how they get going. So you really can't I mean, if you're being honest, it's hard to speak and say you can confidently predict what is going to happen when that is Davis Webb's first real game calling plays and he's on the road against Steve Spagnuolo.
Right.
I think you also have to consider the fact of how do they approach the preseason now, knowing that they're going in with their offense being different with Waddle, with a new play caller, on the road in the first game against an established defensive coordinator. So how much of that are we actually going to see in preseason action? Or are we only going to have to infer what we can gather from what we see in practice that isn't necessarily shown in the preseason games? So, like, there's that element of it in week one in itself. It's going to be very nervous getting through at least those first 2 games before you have an idea, I think, what you have going in against the Rams. And you could run the gamut of results here. It could be 2-0, it could be 1-1, it could be 0-2, and they could be very impressive, convincing wins. They could be embarrassing losses on both sides, because week 1 is always crazy. Week 2 is a team that came in here and handled you last year more so than any team did on your schedule last season.
And their coach made up a bunch of stuff about what you said.
But if you start on the road at Kansas City and then come home and beat that Jaguars team and you are off to a 2-0 start, then you are cooking for the rest of this schedule, which will remain incredibly difficult. But if you're able to get those first 2, it is a totally different outlook on the rest of this season versus what it looks like if you lose your first game with a new play caller on the road in Mahomes' return, and then you come home to play that Jacksonville team.
That's a great point. I think it's important, really, at any point in the schedule, you want to be like this, but specifically in this first 6. Do you really want to go against Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan having to win that game? And I'm not saying, we can drop this one, it's cool, but you're looking at it, the 2 best play callers maybe in the past 15, 20 years, along with Andy Reid, and you're going, we got to beat these guys. We got to stop Puka Nacua. We got to slow down whatever Kyle Shanahan rolls out, they do well. I mean, half their team gets injured, and they're in the playoffs. So that's my big thing, is avoid that. Avoid having to go into Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan having to get a win. That's getting closer to that's October where Sean Payton cooks. We need him to kind of get off to it a little bit better. My concern, Chad, and it's something you know about this, and within the 6 weeks, I think it could become very apparent. Vance Joseph could become very unpopular very quick in this city next year.
And something that we have discussed each of the last 2 seasons against, let's be honest, much lesser schedules.
Yes.
Much easier to navigate schedules. Something we have discussed. By the end of the season, we have watched the narrative shift from the Broncos being elite defense and a great defense to, by the end of the year, is no, they're an all-time elite pass rush. Their defense still gets scored on pretty much at will. So there is one aspect of their defense up front, rushing the passer, and with the 2 corners they have in coverage, that is top-notch and as good as it gets in the NFL, but it doesn't seem to impact the top-tier teams scoring points that go up and down the field and do it whenever they want. Well, now you've got a schedule filled with 12 top-tier teams. There's probably 5 games you should win, and quite honestly, when you look at the way this breaks down, you have to win. When you play the Raiders twice and you play the Jets and the Dolphins and the Cardinals, like, you have to win those 5, but the other 12, you're going to be putting your defense on the field against a team that is going to be capable of going up and down on you that you're going to have to match. So the defense as a whole has to be a better scoring defense, not just be an all-time elite pass rush again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Elite pass rush, talented secondary, it's a mess in the middle is kind of what this defense has been. And you've got Andy Reid, very familiar with you, week 1. You've got Liam Cohen. We talk about teams coming, back down to the Jaguars might not sneak up on anybody this year. That is going to be interesting to watch. They patted themselves on the back pretty heavy. You're not surprising anybody this year. Sean McVay, they've seen it all. Matthew Stafford, they've seen it all. 49ers, they've seen it all. The Chargers right there. The Chargers are to the Broncos, to me, what the Timberwolves seem to be to the Nuggets. To where there is a physicality and a mindset that the Chargers under Harbaugh, that Sean Payton has been unable to match. The Chargers are supremely confident. They're supremely confident at all points of the game. So you've got somebody right there with the Chargers after those first 4. You got the team waiting there that probably might give you more trouble than the 4 previous, simply off how they do everything. So I don't know. We could look at any chunk of this and go, well, that part sucks the most of the first 6. And your breathing room maybe comes Thursday night against the defending Super Bowl champs. That's where
on a Thursday night game.
On a Thursday night game.
After you play the Chargers, you get to play the Seahawks 4 days later.
Right. And
maybe the two most physical teams in the league.
Right. And so with that though, the Broncos can match physicality. We do like offensive line. They probably have the best offensive line in the league. It's just it's hard to look at this and not say the Broncos could be really good and have a really bad record.
Oh, absolutely.
In the first 6 games. It's pretty wild to look at. So when you're looking at the first 6, Chad, and I'm not going to tell you to pick which ones, if they come out of that 3-3, feeling pretty good?
As long as 2 of the wins are over the Chiefs and the Chargers.
That's a great point. You raise a really interesting point. If you drop to the 49ers and the Rams, that sucks, but
win the AFC games.
You win the AFC games. That's a really great point. So Chiefs, Jags, Chargers, they're going to totally now go beat the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. I think 3-3 would be good. 2-4. Have they messed it all up?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so at all. I try every year to break this down, and we will go through it. Everybody goes through it. Will and Zach already did it, where you go game by game, win, loss, and see where you come out with it. And I do that. But once I really can digest and I go over the next couple of days, what I always try to do is go through and do the deepest dive analysis that I can think of every factor that historically I'm aware of that I can point to, look at offseason changes, look at coaching head-to-head matchups, history of a team going there, where are they in terms of, is this the second or third game in a row on the road, how much have they traveled, do that full deep dive and analyze it all and break it down as to what I come out with. But then I also try to step back and do like a 30,000-foot view and just go, okay, how many games should they absolutely win? All right. And then how many games are losses, or how many are really going to come down to a coin flip, who makes a play, right? So if I do that, then what are my totals? Are they drastically different than when I went through a deep dive analysis? Or am I just looking at the obvious saying, okay, the over-under for win total is 9.5, and what is likely to happen here in most scenarios? Everybody's going to have injuries. Everybody's going to play in tough schedule spots. Everybody's going to play on short weeks, right? What is most likely to happen in this scenario? So I try to look at it both ways, see if my numbers match, and then come up with my best educated guess as to what they finish at.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do it. And catch us on the pregame, because we deep dive every week.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
we go through all of that stuff. You got to at least take 2 of these. One thing, and I think it's important, we're looking at all of these teams. These are all really good teams. They also have to play the Broncos.
100%.
So they're looking at the first. The Jags are going, ooh, we got to go to Denver. Kansas City says, we got Denver coming in. So, honestly, I think the Chargers are the only team. And I think the Chargers still understand what a task it is, but there's familiarity there.
There's not one coaching staff, not one player on this schedule that's going, ooh, I can't wait to block Zach Allen.
Yeah, they're not.
Ooh, I can't wait to throw against Pat Surtain.
Yeah,
there's not one person doing that.
How about this? The first 6 weeks is the best time to play these teams. It's when you're most likely to have J.K. Dobbins the most healthy. And we're just going off history.
Everybody.
No disrespect to J.K. Dobbins. You're most likely to have everybody healthy for these first 6 games. If you lose anybody in these first 6 games, following this first 6, you have the Cardinals. You do have the Chiefs back at home, but then you get the Panthers, the bye, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Raiders. So if you're going to get these teams, wouldn't you rather have the 49ers when you kind of have everybody, more than likely have everybody before something comes up? So you're going to have to play these teams no matter what. You might as well get the Jags now versus week whatever you did last year where everybody was worn down. And I don't think – had they not had the bye? I think they had. I can't remember. But overall, that's just something I'm looking at. Like, hey, you're going to go to Arrowhead more healthy than you've probably gone to Arrowhead in a really long time. So that's something I look at with the Chiefs. So with this, just they're going to be healthy. They're going to be fresh. The defense won't be as worn down. We see the defense fall off with Vance. We acknowledge Vance better do some things or he could get blown off the field here. But also, this is the time of year where Vance's defense has generally done the best in Denver.
The schedule's too loaded to try to alternate it where you
Right.
get regular breaks, so you're going to have tough stretches regardless. And to start this way, I will add, because Sean Payton is statistically, literally, he is the best coach in the history of pro football in the month of October. Well, if something isn't working properly, you're going to know against the teams that exploit it, and then that's when he adjusts in the second month of the season. So you know what you have to measure up to. You know where your gaps are, where your holes are, or how to fix what you didn't do right over the first month if you start slow. So why not do it against the best teams and see what the way they approach playing you? So you make that adjustment after the first 4 weeks of the season, and then you go through maybe what starts to be a little bit more manageable of a stretch.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Is you know, okay, these teams that are physical up front, they give us problems. You know, the teams that do all the motion, we have a hard time adjusting to that. It's looking. It is a gauntlet, but also there's something we learned last year. You're looking at last year's schedule. You're seeing the Bengals and the Eagles back to back. Well, Joe Burrow doesn't play, and the Eagles aren't any good, and so, or they're at least coached poorly. So certain things, but then you get the Giants. They play way better than you thought they did. So there is that element too, that we're judging this based off last year, and last year is not a thing. It hasn't happened yet, and I think that's big. You know, the strength of schedule is middle of the pack. They're like 15th. Well, that's because the Chiefs had an off year. Like, you got the Chiefs back. So that strength of schedule stuff doesn't really work for me on this. So you get through that next 6. You made an interesting point. You've got the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Raiders. I skipped over the Steelers and the Chiefs there. Those are all games you basically have no excuse. Panthers are low-key pretty good, though. You got to win those games.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got to win those games.
You have to. If you don't, you have to make up a win that you're probably not likely to get. Something like a road game in New England, right? If you lose to the Cardinals, you better figure out a way to make that up with a road win somewhere.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, you look at the Cardinals, it's one of those, like, they're not going to lose to the Cardinals. If they have Jacoby Brissett, they got a lot of weapons on that offense. The offense goes out, kind of fumbles the ball or something. There's ways to lose these games.
Or simply if somebody's not available that week. I mean, they play the Chargers and the Seahawks the 2 weeks before. You don't think guys are going to be a little sore?
My God, you at least get the 10 days to prepare for the Cardinals. But we're going to start to dive through this. I do want to go back to the Chiefs week 1 real quick. This one's been out for a few days, but it's Arrowhead. You and I last year, me I think more than you, was very startled with how Bo Nix looked week 1. That was very alarming. He looked lost. He looked urgent. He turned the ball over. The special teams was terrible. The fact that they were playing the Titans with a rookie quarterback week 1 allowed the defense to just kind of win that game. Titans dropped a lot of passes too. Boy, Bo can't come out like that this year. He whatever made him rattled, whether it was the pressure, you don't get a ramp-up period. The defense can't just sack Patrick Mahomes 11 times and get you this win because you're not ready. So, Bo, we've got the ankle and everything. It's very important to set the tone for the next few games that Bo Nix, specifically week 1, comes out and looks ready, comes out and looks prepared, like the guy we saw in the playoffs against Buffalo and not the guy we saw week 1 against Tennessee.
I think that is the absolute key to it, but it's also an extension needs to be the entirety of the offense. Whatever the goal is in moving to Davis Webb as the play caller and bringing Jalen Waddle in to spark this offense, eliminate the 3 and outs, and score more points, it's got to be ready to do that from the start. So suddenly the rest of this summer and training camp takes on a little bit of added importance here because those first 3 games, those first 4 games, you got to score. You might be able to beat the Chargers in another 17-13 game like a lot of them have been recently when you play that team and you play Harbaugh.
Yeah,
but those first 4 games, you're going to have to score points.
Yeah, the Niners is one of those teams that's like a buzzsaw type game. Like, you go in there and they are just so ready for you. And the game's out of hand before you even know what's going on. They play very physically on defense. Now, Robert Saleh's gone. again, I forget who took over there as the DC, but Dre Greenlaw revenge game there in week 4. But I'm going to back up here. We're talking about the first 6. John Davis, Chad Andrews. The schedule has just come out for the Denver Broncos. We're talking about the first 6 games right now, which is week 1 at Kansas City, Monday Night Football. Week 2, home against Jacksonville. Week 3, Sunday Night Football, home against the Rams. Week 4, at San Francisco. Week 5, at the Chargers. Week 6, Thursday night, home against the Seattle Seahawks. Chad, it looks scary. Are we maybe getting a little... Are we getting a little too scared off the top?
Yeah.
With these 6 teams?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You nailed it right off the top. They got to play the Broncos too.
Right.
Nobody's looking forward to playing the team that was the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. Nobody is licking their chops saying, I can't wait to go up against this offensive line and this defensive front and the 2 cover corners. Nobody is excited to see that on their schedule. They're doing the same thing in every other NFL market, looking at this, going, man, we got to play. The NFC West teams are going, man, we got to play the AFC West, so we got to play Denver, Kansas City, and the Chargers, and we got to play 2 of them in back-to-back weeks. And they're doing the same thing.
And I think based on how the Super Bowl went, I think a lot of people are looking at the Broncos saying that's the team that should have been in the Super Bowl. Not the Patriots who got smacked by the Seahawks. The Patriots got lucky. Bo Nix didn't play. There was a snowstorm. So these teams got to play the Denver Broncos too. But, Chad, that's the beginning of the schedule. The end of the schedule might be even more scary to look at, more difficult to look at for the Broncos. How does this Broncos season end? And should we be worried as the Broncos might be heading into the playoffs? Chad and I, Denver Broncos schedule release. We get into all of that next.
Down 3 goals. The Avalanche refuse to quit. Colorado storms back from a 3-0 deficit, forces overtime, and wins it in thrilling fashion to eliminate Minnesota. Incredible! And punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals. Ball Arena erupted as the Avs completed an unforgettable rally for the ages. Now, the quest for the cup rolls on. Your Avs are just 8 wins away from Lord Stanley. DenverSports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here for Xfinity. Imagine Wi-Fi so intelligent it actually fixes itself when something goes wrong. Imagine Wi-Fi that reaches every corner of your home, every room, every floor, every dead zone gone. Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together seamlessly. Now imagine it's built for speed and power by fiber. A network with 99.999% reliability. So whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, it just works. And that's not just fast, that's a security blanket for your entire network, protecting what matters most. Now, here's the best part. Lock in 5 years of predictability at the same price, no contracts, no commitments. Everything you need is included, your data, our best equipment, and the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi, all of it. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply, select plans only.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach Bai and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire it back, then do what I did and go see Dr. Tanya Pauls at Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can personally attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation today. Call 720-459-HAIR and you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. That's 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver, and they've changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. Become inspired with the before and afters at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
O'Reilly.
Stop by the new O'Reilly Auto Parts in Wheat Ridge on Kipling Street behind Natural Grocers now through May 26th for the grand opening sale. Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of 5 quarts of Mobil 1 Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil for $35.95. Plus, buy one, get one free Coca-Cola products at your new O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the 2026 Broncos schedule. Here's John Davis and Chad Andrews.
Chad, that first 6 games for the Broncos is a gauntlet, but ESPN right now has the Chiefs schedule up. Look at this. Week 6, the Chiefs have the Chargers, then they go at Seattle, at the Broncos, and then there's about 3 weeks, and then they go at the Bills, at the Rams, at the Bengals, Patriots, 49ers, at the Chargers. So what I'm saying is that's the other thing is the Chiefs generally have all the same opponents the Broncos do. The Chargers have generally all the same opponents the Broncos do. So the only difference will be within the AFC, the Broncos will play the division winners. That's why they have the Patriots. We play that whole division, but that's why they have Pittsburgh. And Houston didn't win that division. So, yeah, anyways, it levels off the way they do it. So the Chiefs don't have it any easier is the big point that we're making here. It's going to be hard on everybody in the AFC West.
Yeah, and it's a great year for the league itself because of the rotation having the AFC West against the NFC West. So it's going to create a lot of major marquee games that everybody's going to want to see. And the great thing about the NFL is we don't have to deal with late starts because they're the teams out west, right? The times are still the same no matter what.
Not a lot of 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with that nonsense. But having that rotation land with where the teams are right now is fantastic because it's huge for the NFL to have all of those matchups because you basically throw out the Raiders, but everybody else.
And the Cardinals.
But everybody else, you've got 6 teams that are all going to play head-to-head, and all of those games are going to be enormous.
You could make an argument, and I'm not saying this is the easiest argument because you have teams like the Bills. The 6 best teams in the league could be in 2 divisions. Like the AFC West and the NFC West could legitimately have. And that's why playoff time, you might see neither AFC West or NFC West have the 1 seed because they're all beating each other all year. But once the playoffs come, those teams start rolling through everybody because their schedules are worse.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. So it could be, don't be shocked if the Seahawks, the Rams, the Niners are not the 1 seed, or the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers are not the 1 seed, but they are in fact the best teams.
Or if you don't
class.
even see them in the week-to-week power ratings at the top,
right?
Because they have losses.
Yeah, and then you look at their losses, you're like, well, of course they played all of these teams. But with the Broncos, so that is the positive when you look at this. The other teams in the Broncos division got to play these teams too. They've also got to play. They've got to play all these. Do we not have a team? Oh, it's the Jaguars because the Jaguars won that division. So we get the Jaguars and the Patriots because they were the 1 seeds in the AFC division we're not playing, which is the AFC East. So the only difference in the schedule is the Chiefs get the Colts, who was the 3 seed, and so on, which means the Chargers get the Texans, which we might have.
We know how that goes. The last couple of years, we know how that goes.
So that may be better. But Chad, the Broncos, they closed the season. We talked about this first 6 games. This is the Broncos schedule release. I'll recap the first 6 game, which is the Chargers, the Jags, the Rams, the 49ers, the Chargers. I meant Chiefs, and the Seahawks. Check this out. The last 3 games, Christmas Day against Buffalo. So you and we're going to get to a point where we'll look back and be like, we spent most our holidays together for a good period of time because we did Christmas together last year for the Chiefs. So you've got the Bills at home on Christmas. The next week, January 2nd or 3rd, they do that Saturday, Sunday scheduling, flexing, at the Patriots, and then you come home against the Chargers. Each week, there is a chance at the end of the year that each week you're playing a team that you are directly fighting for playoff positioning for.
And that's the way the NFL does it by design. That's why they moved the last few years to having a division opponent in the last game of the season all the time because divisions will be on the line, playoff spots will be on the line. And you and I were texting a little bit leading up to this week, and we knew a couple days ago the last game of the season was either going to be the Chiefs or the Chargers at home, and we were pretty confident the Bills were going to be the Christmas game.
Yep.
That they were going to be playing on Christmas again.
Yeah, the Bills-Broncos game, and the way the NFL is doing Christmas, it's all playoff rematches from last year. It's Chicago, Green Bay, and I think Seahawks-Rams is the later one. But, yeah, Christmas Day, you want that rematch from the highly controversial game a year ago where Josh Allen turns the ball over. You have the Jaquan McMillan. But the Bills game is interesting to me. Obviously, it's Josh Allen. For one, we don't know how that coaching staff's going to be in Buffalo. So where the Bills are at late in the year, Zach and Will were talking about it earlier. They're kind of on opposite sides. Zach's a Bills fan, so he's more negative on the Bills. That's how you are.
Well, I mean, he's been heartbroken so many times. You can't blame the guy.
You can't blame the guy. And Zach's higher on the Seahawks. But what if this is a situation where it doesn't work in Buffalo at all? And this late in the year, yeah, they're fantastic. And that's kind of what you get going into the season is, sign it up. The Patriots, there's a lot of distractions going on there. And there is as much as everybody liked to disregard the Broncos schedule last year, the Patriots had it even easier than the Broncos did. Then you got the Chargers week 17, week 18, that's a divisional opponent. But the Bills Patriots on paper, it looks rough, but they may not be who were the pedestal we're putting them on right now. And I don't mean that disrespectful, but that's the thing about the schedule. You don't know who these teams are going into the season.
Well, that would be fantastic if you run into teams that are struggling and not anywhere close to what we saw in the playoffs last year to run down everything after the bye leading up to that last game against the Chargers. I think we're pretty confident we know what we're going to get from the Chargers, and they're going to be in contention.
It's going to be hard. The Chargers could be in the Super Bowl. It is so easily fathomable to me to see. They don't have Jesse Minter calling the defense anymore. I think that's low-key a pretty big loss. But if they're healthy, they proved last year they can go deep even with injuries.
That Bills game, man, I've got 7 months to figure out how I'm going to spin this because it is a 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time start here at home. So season ticket holders, everyone, John and your family, everyone else, the Marilats that are listening, It's 2:30 start time, which means we're going to be down at Mile High Station starting at noon, which means I'm going to have to leave at like 10 or 10:30 from my house to get a parking spot on Christmas morning. So I have 7 months to figure out how I'm going to make this one work with the family. Because, oh yeah, by the way, I do have 3 children for Christmas morning. So,
you know what you could do? You start looking at tickets. For how many of you? 5?
5.
That'll be cheap.
Yeah.
Especially for the Bills. Nobody wants to see Josh Allen play.
There won't be anybody from Buffalo spending Christmas here.
Oh, my God. There's going to be a lot. So it gets tricky. One other thing, too, in this last part of this season that I think is important, Week 12, Pittsburgh Steelers, 1 p.m. Mountain start. That's the day after Thanksgiving. So you've got 2 Friday games within 5 weeks. You get 3 Sunday games in the middle. But this season just overall is kind of wonky from the perspective you go Monday night and Sunday night, weeks 1 and 3, and then you got Thursday night not long after that. And then they get a bit of a breather. But then you get the Black Friday game, you get the Saturday game the Friday game against the Bills, and then those Patriots-Chargers games could be on Saturdays.
Those are the only 2 that don't have a specific date assigned or network assigned. Everything else we know what network it's going to be on and the date it's going to be played, but the last 2, they're holding out the flex.
What's nice is the Chiefs get the Steelers game is on Black Friday. I find it hard to believe. Crazier things have happened. Teams get better than you think. I don't think Dolphins, Jets, or Raiders is going to get flexed to Sunday Night Football. I don't think.
Pretty sure it's not.
I don't think they have to worry about that. But overall, I think that may be the trickiest part. You look at this, and there's a lot of tough teams on the schedule. The different days and times of the games may become the thing that becomes the most difficult for the Broncos to manage this season.
And it really always is, right? I mean, look at a team like the Chargers last year. Look at a team like the 49ers the last several years, and just when their injuries have cropped up in relation to the schedule, right? The 49ers I was down on last year, and it was in large part because of the miles they had to travel. And then when injuries popped up for them with how they were playing at rest disadvantages, right, it plays into how that works. And the Broncos are going to be in the middle of the pack this year with miles traveled. They're going to be, somewhere 14, 16 in the league. So it's going to be average for everyone else. There's not any real stretches where you're seeing huge cross-country jaunts back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They will play
in New York 2 out of 3 weeks late in the year.
Yeah.
Well, you got Pittsburgh, so they do have a 4-week. Yeah.
Well, no, because the Bills will be a home.
Oh, the
game.
Bills is here. You're right.
They do have to go to Steelers, home for Dolphins, then back to Jets.
So that's where it could be.
Right. That's probably the biggest stretch of the season. Other than, I guess, they will have Bills at home, 2 Patriots, back to Chargers. But those are again 2 home games wrapped around the trip to the East Coast. And they're really only going east for the Steelers, Dolphins, Jets.
Well, Dolphins are here.
Yeah, Steelers, Jets, and Patriots.
Yeah, so they're only going east. It is all in the back half of the year, so it could get tricky there. But you'll get extra rest after the Bills game because you're playing that on a Friday. So the Broncos will get extra rest there. But the Broncos schedule is out. Chad Anderson and I are reacting to it. Chad, there is a game on here that I think everybody's going to overlook, and it's got me really worried. I'm going to tell you which game that is as we continue to react to the Broncos schedule next.
You asked for it, you got it. Backed by popular demand, it's the Drives Brouhaha.
Big social brouhaha.
This spring, Zach and Phil are back on the road bringing their party to you. First stop, the Golden Triangle in Denver. May 22nd from 2 to 6 at Schoolyard Beer Garden.
There was quite a brouhaha.
Come find out what the commotion's all about. Head to DenverSports.com/drive for more details.
Bring the brouhaha.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
I need a little range, step to the range, come on, meet me at the
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303 Law 4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get her to accept the lowball offer. That's where a lot of lawyers will try and get their clients to cave in, but not us. We said that's fine. We'll tell her story to a jury. Before we could even get up and walk out of the room, that case settled for $1.1 million. That cousin was very happy. The insurance companies work for their shareholders. At 303 Law 4040, we work for you. You don't have to feel guilty about asking for what's fair. We hope you never need us, but accidents do happen, so go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. We all seem to be in a rush these days, from work to driving our kids around. But when you're behind the wheel, please do not speed. A few minutes saved by going faster is never worth the risk. So follow the speed limit, enjoy the drive, maybe bring some snacks for the kids, and know that along the way, you're getting quality time with your family.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I've got to tell you about Schomp Honda. If you're looking for an SUV that can handle Colorado, check out the new 2026 Honda CR-V. It's comfortable, capable, and perfect for everything from your daily drive to weekend getaways. Right now, Schomp Honda has the largest inventory since before COVID, so you've got more options than ever. And I love this. Schomp Honda does things differently. Their one price, one person, 1 hour philosophy means a fair price up front and way less time at the dealership. They never charge dealer handling fees.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at DenverSports 1043 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan. It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the 2026 Broncos schedule. Here's John Davis and Chad Andrews.
Denver Broncos schedule is out. We've been on the air, so I haven't got to see the video yet, but what we understand, it's got Peyton Manning, Aqib Talib, Jake Plummer, and so go check that out. Broncos favorites are in there.
I kind of scanned through it, but without the audio, so I'll do the deep dive once we're done here tonight at 8 o'clock and go through it. Looks pretty good with Peyton Manning again in that. His family involved too. They're kind of watching TV and flipping channels, going through elements that reveal the schedule. So it looks pretty funny. One interesting note on the ESPN coverage of the schedule release that is not schedule related. Adam Schefter is reporting that on June 1st, A.J. Brown is expected to be traded to the Patriots, that the talks will resume on that, and that is expected to happen. It seems like they have an agreement in principle of some sort, but probably because of money and legalities of dates and all that stuff that they will resume and finalize that. So could be a different face that we are seeing in that late season game at the end of the year.
Yeah, when the Broncos play the Patriots, second to last week of the season. I wanted that early. I wanted the Patriots week 1. I thought that was the game. I'm not a big fan of the Super Bowl rematch for week 1, which is what they're doing. I'll be honest, I thought they'd leave the Patriots out of primetime week 1 just with everything going on.
Nope.
With Vrabel. Nope. It's the first game of the year. Wednesday night, it's going to be Patriots-Seahawks, the rematch, which, as you know, I don't know about you guys. When I was watching that Super Bowl last year, I was like, boy, I can't wait to see these teams go at it again. So let's lead with that again. I thought Broncos-Patriots was the obvious one, week 1. Bo Nix is out. You know you're going to get the two teams at full strength. There's the built-in story. They're doing it so late in the year next year. That storyline between Bo Nix being injured AFC Championship is going to kind of fade by that point. So I like the Monday night at Arrowhead. I think that's a great opportunity. But I thought from the NFL's perspective, Broncos-Patriots in primetime was the way to go.
It would have been more fun to see it early in the year, because you would have seen Bo Nix have an opportunity to stack up against that team and maybe get an idea of what we all believe would have happened if he would have played in that game.
It would have been a great tone setter, I think, to win that game against the Patriots early.
And I think we all assumed they would win. I think we all thought they would win that game if Bo played last year. I think it's a pretty fair and safe assumption. I mean, the only reason the Patriots got in the end zone is because Jarrett Stidham gave them the ball.
Yeah.
And that's something Bo Nix doesn't do.
It's his best skill. And by the way, I'm going to get into the team that I teased that's got me a little worried. But Chad Andrews infuriated Raider Nation today. So,
they're all over me.
They're all over. But anyways, Chad, look at this schedule. You look at that top 6. It's like, yikes, right? And even the top 8 other than the Cardinals, because you get the Cardinals, but then you got the Chiefs right back at home. The Broncos look at – so those top 6, I'll give it to you. It's at the Chiefs, home against the Jaguars, home against the Rams, at the 49ers, at the Chargers, home against the Seahawks, and then and then at the Cardinals, and then home against the Chiefs. That's a top 8. There's only one bad team in there, and that's a team with Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Jeremiah Love, James Conner. They're loaded on offense. Defense, we'll see. But then you close out. Obviously, we talked about home against the Bills, at the Patriots, home against the Chargers. Oh, it is Monday. Okay, so it's week 9 at Carolina. This is a team that was in the playoffs. They had the Rams on the ropes. They haven't lost anything. Ejiro Evero does a really good job there. Bryce Young right now, nobody. It's probably not popular, and people will say no. He's better than C.J. Stroud. I mean, as weird as that was last year, right now, who played better more recently? Bryce Young's playing better than C.J. Stroud. That is a well-coached team in Carolina. That is a talented team in Carolina. That's an 11 a.m. game. It's right before the bye.
And it's right after the Chiefs.
And it's right after the Chiefs. That is a game that could get real tricky and real difficult and throw the season off course right there. So that's a game. Obviously, you're concerned about those other teams. Carolina week 9, that's one that could really get the Broncos.
Yeah, that is probably what I would call the only trap game on the schedule. I don't think anything else is a trap.
No.
There's just the couple of opponents that they absolutely positively must beat and have to handle. Everybody else is going to be a heavyweight fight that they know what they are in for going into, and they're not going to get caught by surprise. That may be the only game that you might classify as a trap after the Chiefs at home right before the bye week.
Right, and that's a game too. Carolina's a team that you get to that game and for whatever reason they've got 2 losses, and that's a team that's just a whole lot better than everybody thought, or they could be worse. I mean, they're there, but yeah, as far as a trap game, let's say you get a big emotional victory at home against Kansas City and the come down from that. So that's one, and that's like an inflection point of the season to where everybody's kind of settled into the season. The playoffs are maybe getting a little crystallizing a little bit. And it's like, boy, we got to get this one. We got to get the Raiders before we go to Pittsburgh. So that one right there, is there any games that aren't maybe headliners that kind of catch your attention a little bit more than maybe most people might be reacting to right now?
No, because there's so many headliners. I mean, honestly, I think the first 6 games of the season are all headliners. Obviously, anytime they play the Chiefs, it is. We mentioned Carolina is the one game I would consider a trap. I don't consider the Steelers a trap or a headline game at this point. I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback. It will be the standalone Netflix game on the Black Friday. And then you know what you're getting into at the end of the season with the Bills, Patriots, and Jets. So, like, to me, there's very few surprises on here. I think you know what you're in for every week.
And I think kind of, again, everything's barring injury, because one of these teams we play is going to have an injury that's crazy, and then one of these games we play, the Broncos are going to have an injury, and so those things kind of happen throughout the year. But overall, I feel kind of confident in saying most of these teams are who we think they're going to be. We know what we get out of the Andy Reid Chiefs, the McVay Rams, the Shanahan 49ers, the Harbaugh Chargers. Like, there's not a lot of like, ooh, who's that? Really, the 2 teams that I think the Broncos have here that are up or down, I'll give you the 3, is the 2 teams from the Super Bowl, the Seahawks and the Patriots. I think we could see them coming back down. And I think Buffalo's, with what all the changes they've made, that's a big question mark too. Those are the 3 that it'll be interesting to see where they are. But most of these games, I think we're pretty comfortable. Like, I don't think the Jets are going to surprise everybody and be an 11-win team. I'm pretty comfortable in that. And the Raiders, I think, will be better, but right now, as you've pointed out to the world today.
Oh, man, they hate me today. I made an appearance on Raider Nation Radio this morning, and they did not take kindly to my opinion of Fernando Mendoza and their future there. So
Chad's got them all mad. But, Chad, we're going to do it. Dante's going to join us. We're going to start at week 1, and we're going to go all the way to week 18, and we're going to predict who we think wins each game. And at the end, we'll have our record for the Broncos in 2026 as it sits today. We do all of that next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
In a city full of choices, your savings destination is Groove Toyota, the oldest family-owned Toyota dealership in the Denver metro. Over 300 new Toyota Tacomas, only $399 a month lease. Visit GrooveToyota.com. $399 a month Tacomas, built for the Rockies, priced for you. Buy today in person or at GrooveToyota.com. Start here, go anywhere.
Closed and lease for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. Zero security deposit. Unapproved credit. Call 720-961-4465 for complete details. Offer expires 6/126.
The upgrade you've been dreaming of at a price you didn't expect. Hi, I'm Brad Barnett, president and founder of Mountain High Appliance. This Memorial Day, get a 4-piece stainless kitchen for only $19.99. Get a GE front-load washer and dryer for only $15.98. Save $900. Or shop our clearance center and save up to 60%. Plus, we'll match any local competitor's price. The best service and the best prices. Why go anywhere else?
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
When a semi-truck hits you, it's not always just a fender bender. First, it's the missed work. Then the medical bills pile up. And these big rig companies can move fast with teams of lawyers, investigators, and denials. If you're not ready, you're already behind. At the Berg Simpson Law Firm, we've handled these cases for decades. So if you've been struck by an 18-wheeler, call us at Berg Simpson today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Any jewelry store can sell you a diamond.
But there's only one family jeweler in Colorado that was literally built on them.
In fact, we've sold more diamonds to more couples for more years than any other jeweler in Denver. I'm Steve Williams.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Shayna Williams. That's why we built Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, an entire store totally dedicated to celebrating your love.
All the world's top bridal designers, 10 times the certified loose diamonds.
And Denver's true diamond experts, like me, who will share their knowledge and passion and how to get the most diamond for your money, guaranteed.
So whether you're looking for the perfect diamond engagement ring,
or that second diamond celebrating a love of many years,
we have the perfect diamond for you.
That's why every day more couples say will you with Williams.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the
schedule release. We're going to start making predictions with Dante, but just a couple observations because, Chad, one thing about doing radio when news quote-unquote breaks, you're reacting. Broncos only play two 2:00 home games, and that's the Jags week 2 and the Chiefs week 8. The other home game being a Sunday nighter against the Rams and a Thursday nighter against the Seahawks.
And a great text came in from 0250 pointing out how amazing Colorado is in the fall. And October is the best month of the year to go to a Broncos game. The weather's just usually spectacular during October. They have one October home game, and it's at night.
Right, because then the next one after that is November 1 against the Chiefs. So setup kind of weird. One thing I like, we're not loaded early with 2:00 home games. Legitimately, when those are 90 degrees, it's brutal. It's just brutal to be there. It's so hot. So the Jaguars is the only game that can actually fall into that category, but kind of weird. Not a lot of weird. Last year had some weird runs of a lot of road games and a lot of home games broken up by like one game separating like 4 games. So it's a little more balanced, I think, this year from the home and away. But we're going to get into it real quick. Should we start at week 1? Yeah, we're going to start. I was going to maybe run through the schedule again, but we're doing that one by one. So week 1, Monday night, Kansas City Chiefs. Chad, do you have the Broncos winning or losing this game?
I'm going to go with this one probably as a loss. I think it's going to be a close game, and it is going to be the first game of Davis Webb calling plays and Patrick Mahomes coming back in that stadium. I'm going to say the Chiefs probably win that.
You got the Chiefs winning. Okay, Dante, week 1, Monday Night Football, Broncos, Chiefs.
I also have the Chiefs winning. I think a lot of people are underrating the Chiefs, and it's going to look like a different offense. This is going to be the first time we've seen that offense without Patrick Mahomes being the focal point. I think they're really going to lean into the run and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to because also Mahomes is not going to be 100%.
And that's what I mean by him not being the focal point. They're not going to have to rely on him like they have in the past. I think they're going to try to take as much weight off his shoulders, and maybe the back half of the season, it'll be more the Patrick Mahomes show, but I expect early to be a heavy dose of running.
I think one advantage the Broncos have, for one, Steve Spagnuolo is fantastic. You pointed this out. And to flip this for Broncos fans, imagine if we were playing a first-time play caller with this play with Vance Joseph. We'd probably be sitting here going, Vance is gonna have his way with them.
Well, we did in week 1 last year.
Yeah,
and it was good enough to win, but it wasn't dominant.
It wasn't. So there's no film on the Davis Webb offense. There will be no film on what he likes to do. There will be no film on his tendencies. And you pointed out Broncos probably conceal that in preseason the best they can. I do think the Broncos have a really bad taste in their mouth from the way that ended last year against New England. I think the Broncos are the better team. I understand they've been slow out of the gate with Sean Payton. It's Jalen Waddle. The run game is going to be a lot improved. I think the Broncos go into Kansas City, and I think they win that game. And I think they win that game, I'm not going to say convincingly score-wise, but I think it's a game they're in control of for most of it. I like the Broncos opening up 1-0 against Kansas City, really going out to prove a point.
I think there's folks in the NFL office that anticipate there's a real good chance this is big-time fireworks.
Yeah.
This is a come-down-to-the-wire 37-36 game.
As the Chiefs usually give the NFL, the Detroit a few years ago, if you remember, was it Perriman with Baltimore getting his toes not in the end zone? It's usually a fireworks game. It usually comes down to the wire. So Chad and Dante both got the Chiefs winning week 1. I think the Broncos go into Arrowhead. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think they get that win. All right, week 2, Dante, we'll throw it to you first. Jacksonville comes to Denver. Rematch from that beatdown they delivered the Broncos last year.
I think the Broncos are getting their revenge from last year and from week 1, getting surprised there in Kansas City. But, no, I think Sean Payton's going to be able to motivate this group and say, hey, remember last year what happened when these guys came in here and took over our house? That is not happening again, and I think they get their lick back, as the youth say.
I agree with that one. Last year's loss was demoralizing, but it was a lot of lazy attempts at tackles and missed tackles, a lot of drop passes. It was correctable errors that the Broncos did to themselves. It wasn't because Jacksonville dominated them. It was a lot of things that the Broncos were self-inflicting, and I think they win that game, start off 1-1.
I do have the Broncos winning that game too. Dante said the lick back. That whole small market Liam Cohen nonsense, I think the Broncos wanted the Jags in the playoffs last year. I think this is one they're circling, kind of that whole, oh, you think you're bad? You know, we weren't healthy. We were tired. I think the Broncos come in here kind of on a mission. If there's one game this year that they're going to be kind of brutal about, it's that. So I have the Broncos going against what we've seen, the history of Sean Payton. I've got the Broncos starting 2-0. I think that's a close one too. I think that's another really close game. And Broncos fans, Colorado fans, Travis Hunter. They get to see Travis Hunter.
Hopefully.
Which they did not get to see. Yeah, maybe not. So we all have the Broncos. Week 2. Okay, this is an interesting one. Sunday Night Football against the Rams. I'll go first. I have the Broncos starting 3-0. I think they match up well with the Rams. I think Matt Stafford will have a very hard time with the pass rush. It's another close game. Sean McVay is going to dial up a lot of really good stuff on offense. I think that's a close one. It's Sunday night. The Rams are coming here. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Look, it's not going to be easy. They keep stacking tight ends, as you and I talked about in the draft. But coming in here early in the season, I like the Sean Payton I like the Vance Joseph defense to kind of overwhelm Matt Stafford. It's going to be another close one, another one-score win for the Broncos. But I like the Broncos in that game against the Rams.
3-0 start would be amazing.
3-0 would be unreal.
Incredible against this schedule. I've got it as a loss. I died on Rams Hill last year. I thought they were the best team in the league. They just didn't get to or win the Super Bowl. I still think they're the best team in the league. They have the highest win total at 11.5. I just do not want to see a situation where the reigning Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche are in attendance in a suite wearing Rams jerseys. That's going to be tough.
That would be terrible. They also got Trent McDuffie too. So I mean, they're where they were weak last year, they're better now. So it's going to be tough. Dante.
I have the Rams as well. I think they're the best team in football. And even though they didn't win the Super Bowl last year, I think they were the best team in football. They got screwed by not hosting the NFC Championship. And the reason they didn't host the NFC Championship last year was that dumb 2-point conversion that went off the helmet. And if they win that game, the NFC Championship last year's in SoFi, they go on to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But no, I think this is Matt Stafford's swan song. I think he goes out on top. And I think this Rams team is like a 15-2, 14-3 kind of record next year.
So this game is conceivable, should have been the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what should have been the Super Bowl.
100%.
Broncos Rams. Well, then I'm definitely not picking against the Broncos. Week 4 at San Francisco. I'll go first again. This is a loss. I think I mentioned it earlier. A buzzsaw. This game lines up the way they're coached, the way they prepare, the way they're physical, the way Kyle Shanahan gets performance out of anybody, regardless. They didn't draft well in a lot of people's minds. Whatever. Kyle Shanahan does well. I think the Broncos dropped to 3-1. It's October. It's Sean Payton. I understand that. I'm going against history here. I got the Broncos losing to the 49ers.
3-1 would be amazing if, regardless of where that loss comes, if they start 3-1, I would be over the moon in that regard. Dante, what do you got?
I got the Denver Broncos. I think this is when they start to get hot right here. I think they're about to go on a little bit of a winning streak in this part of the schedule, and I think San Francisco is due for one of those stinker kind of years that we've seen from Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan has 4 losing seasons there, which is just a weird thing to say because he's been so great as the head coach of the 49ers, but it's just one of those where the injuries compound. George Kittle probably will not be available. I'm assuming he tore his Achilles in the playoffs, I want to say, or late last year, definitely.
It was late, yeah.
So I don't think he'll be ready to play, and I think San Francisco's in for a little bit of a regression year.
It's going to be a really tough game after those first 3, but the calendar does switch to October, and you know what happens then.
Sean Payton's the greatest of all time.
Sean Payton doesn't lose. So give me the Broncos. They're 2-2.
Week 5 at the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh. Broncos Chargers. Chad, we'll start with you on this one. Week 5. You've got the Broncos at this point 2-3.
2-2 through the first 4 games.
Oh, yeah, this is week 5.
But yes, so 2-2. It would be 2-3 after the Chargers game. It would be 2-3 on the road against that team. I think as long as Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh are the 2 coaches and Bo Nix and Justin Herbert are the 2 quarterbacks, we are looking to be destined at 1-1 splits every year in this series. And I'm probably going to say that the home team is just going to win those games.
Well, whatever stadium it's in, the Chargers. It's just Broncos fans in the Chargers stadium. So, Dante, Broncos Chargers, week 5.
I got the Broncos winning their second in a row, moving to 3-2. I think they're going to remember last year when they had the Chargers and they had an opportunity to win that game early in the year. They dropped it, ended up having to work from behind, and they ran away with the division by the end of it. But I don't think that's how it goes down this year. I think the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert are going to be great. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I just think the Broncos are going to be playing the right kind of football at that time of year.
And so that you'll have them at 3-2 at that point?
3-2.
You'll have them at 3-2. I've got this one. I'm going against history again. I've got the Broncos losing this game to the Chargers. They just seem the Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh matchups in Denver, the Broncos have just not looked like there's any way around what the Chargers do. Even that last game last year where the Chargers weren't playing anybody, Trey Lance was the quarterback. Guys were open. He was just overthrowing them. The defense was getting through the line. Jesse Minter's not there. But I'm going against history. I've got the Broncos dropping back-to-back games in California, dropping to 3-2. So you've got them at 2-3 after week 5. Dante and I have the Broncos at 3-2, and we all arrive there differently. And I think that kind of goes to show how this first 6 games really is the coin flip that you're talking about. I don't expect – I could see the 49ers. I just don't know why I feel like that, but every game is going to be close, which leads us into Thursday Night Football. Coming off a very physical game. It's going to be physical against the Chargers. You got to play it. Now, the Broncos are at home. It's Week 6 against the Seattle Seahawks. The Broncos get back right to me after a 2-game losing streak. I think they beat the Seahawks on Thursday night. I think they look good doing it.
I agree. And again, it's back to October, right? Sean Payton wins really 2/3, 3/4 of the time, and he's going to win 3 out of the 4 games this year for a little foreshadowing. So, yes, they're going to rebound after losing to the Chargers. They're going to beat the Seahawks at home.
Dante.
I also have them beating the Seahawks at home. I think the Seahawks are a great team, but I mean, this Broncos team at home was just unbelievable last year. I think that continues, and I think Seattle's in for a little bit of regression themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up finishing 9-8 kind of
why is that?
for them.
Everybody's looking at the Seahawks for the regression. Where does this kind of what's the insight on
They
that?
lost 2 running backs.
Okay.
And
the team is for sale, and they're basically punting on a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and for me, it comes down to last year, JSN, that came out of nowhere, but I don't think anybody had it on their bingo card, JSN being the best wide receiver in the NFL. I think teams are going to have a little bit more film on that and figure out how to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, you guys are crazy because Torrey Horton from CSU is going for 2,500 yards and 200 receptions next year. So, no, I think with the Seahawks and the Patriots, that's just kind of how everybody's looking at that. I think the Broncos win this one. Next week, Dante, we may call you for our pregame show next year.
Behind enemy lines
with Dante Gomez.
I'd be happy to join.
Arizona Cardinals. Dante, a team nobody's looking at. Their quarterback who went 1-7 is currently holding out for a bigger contract. Jacoby Brissett, but loaded with weapons on that offense. I mean, legitimately best tight end in football. Marvin Harrison Jr., who we're waiting on. What's the other?
Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson. They've got 3 capable running backs. Do the Cardinals got a shot here?
Oh, they absolutely have a shot.
They got a shot. There you go. It's in Arizona.
It is in Arizona, which I don't know how much that helps or hurts for the Cardinals or Broncos. This is the only one I actually didn't put an answer for, so I'm going to refrain from answering. Not because I'm trying to be a homer. I just truly do not know. At this point, I have the Broncos winning 3 in a row, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they get a little high on themselves and fall to Arizona. I think Arizona's going to be a lot better than what they've been. Their injuries have really plagued them the last 2 years. And they've drafted defense, and none of those players have really made a difference because they've been injured. But you pointed out all the offensive weapons they have. They have a strong run game between Jeremiah Smith, who they just drafted. James Conner's back. They also went and got Tyler Algier. So that might be a Carson Beck first start of his career win for the Cardinals.
What is he, 34 years old? Okay, so Dante, definitely having you on behind enemy lines. You just sold the Cardinals. That was a good job.
I wish I could actually sell the Cardinals in real life away from the owners that they currently have.
What about the coach?
I don't know too much about him. I think it helps that they have a new coach. I didn't mind Jonathan Gannon, but it felt like he had lost the locker room. It's LaFleur's brother, I want to say.
Yeah,
from Green Bay. I know he's related. I can't remember the exact relation. I just think having a new voice in there and a new person holding everybody accountable, it can't hurt. Plus, I mentioned the Carson Beck thing. I don't think Carson Beck's great, but I think he gets dumped on a little bit more. He's a winner. He's won every single place he's gone. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Nathaniel Hackett's on that staff. The Broncos are winning this game.
He's actually pretty good as an OC, John. I will.
No, he's not.
The record when he is the offensive coordinator of teams is good.
Yeah, because he's not calling the plays in Green Bay.
Well, I don't think he's calling the plays here either.
So there you go.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Carson Beck lost like 6 games in college, and all 6 of them he had the ball in his hands to tie or win the game and turned it over on the last possession. So winner, maybe. Wouldn't be my definition. But, yeah, I would love it if he starts against the Broncos pass rush. This is where they turn the corner. I've got the team at 3-3 at this point. This is where they stack up their first back-to-back win and move to 4-3 and above 500 for the first time.
That's good. Am I allowed to redo one of my picks? I'm taking the Rams as a loss. That one, the more I thought about it. So I'm now taking the Rams. I know I have the Broncos losing 3 straight there. But I agree. This is where they start to kind of gel here. I'm going to flip my Rams and 49ers picks back to what you did, Chad. So I'm getting right with both of you guys.
So
with
easily influenced.
Yeah. So
me and Chad made a lot of good points.
You guys did. You guys made a ton. Here's what I forgot. They got Trent McDuffie. That was
your
big
point
one.
even.
Yeah. No. And after I thought of that, I was like, ew. So okay. So then that would give me the same record though. So I have them at what 4-3 at this point with the win over the 5-3 with the win over the Cardinals.
I'm gonna
it only
officially
be game
go
7, so they can't be 5-3.
So 4-3.
4-3, and that's what I have them at.
Yeah, 4-3.
I'm gonna officially go with the Broncos do beat the Cardinals.
Okay, cool.
It'll be close though.
But I got to give it up. You very succinctly broke down where the Cardinals can be talented, so that was good. Week 8, home against the Chiefs. This is a tough one because I have them winning week 1. It's hard to sweep a division opponent. I acknowledge that. One advantage of this Broncos schedule is you get Mahomes twice in the first 8 weeks coming off the ACL. I don't know if he'll be right all year, to be honest. Remember Jerry Rice rehabbed an ACL in one season, then he caught a pass the back of the end zone and Steve Atwater re-injured, like broke his leg, and he was out immediately. I like the Broncos over the Chiefs at home. It's not because I think the Chiefs are bad. I just think the way these games land for the Chiefs to play the Broncos is not as advantageous for Kansas City. Mahomes could still be figuring things out. This is also a situation where I do think the Chiefs make the playoffs, but this is a team this year with the Chiefs where if it doesn't start right, it could get loud. And Chad, you've pointed this out on our shows. Chiefs ownership is not good. That is not the most stable.
A lot of infighting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stability in that organization. But I got the Broncos sweeping the Chiefs for the second straight year. I know that's crazy. It's not to write off the Chiefs. I just think the way this lands for the Chiefs is beneficial for the Broncos. I got the Broncos week 8 over Kansas City.
Yeah, and speaking of where it lands, the Chiefs have a very early bye week in week 5, and then they will come out of that and play the Chargers and then go to Seattle before they come here for that week 8 game. And I've got the Broncos splitting with them, winning at home. Like I said, this is where things start to gain momentum and the Broncos get the train rolling a little bit. So it would be what I have them at now, 3 straight wins over the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Chiefs.
Dante?
I have them winning as well, and that would be 5 wins in a row, making them 6-2. I just think they split with Kansas City this year. I think that week 1 loss is going to get to them, and they're going to come Kansas City is going to come into Mile High and not have the most pleasant time with that crowd.
Yeah, I actually have them. Yeah, I miscounted. I have them at 6-2 also. I got the Broncos 6-2. Following week, I mentioned this earlier, week 9, I got the Broncos going into Carolina and losing. I just think coming off a big Chiefs win, it's a week before the bye, it's an East Coast game. There's going to be one in here that's weird. Carolina's talented. They're very well coached on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. They've got a lot of young talent. They were in the playoffs last year. I don't think this is an easy win. I actually have the Broncos dropping to 6-3 right before the bye, losing at Carolina.
I also have them at 6-3, but it's because they will win their 4th straight game.
Okay.
So they're going to win that game right before the bye. This is their biggest momentum swing and shift where we see where this season is headed, and it's because they beat the Seahawks, Cardinals, Chiefs, and Panthers all in a row before the bye week.
There you go. So we both got them 6-3 in the bye. It just looks a lot different. Dante.
John, I thought I was going to have the hot take of them losing in Carolina, but you beat me to it.
Okay.
I also have them 6-3. They lose to Carolina. In my scenario, they're coming off a 5-game win streak. It's hard to continue a streak like that, and I think Carolina has a competent head coach for the first time in a long time. So I think that him and Bryce Young will get it done, and Carolina will be not great this year, but middling like they were last year. But they'll win some games they shouldn't, and then they'll lose some games they probably shouldn't as well. And this is one of them.
Remember last year they beat the Rams during the regular season at home, so they've kind of got that going with them. So 6-3, we're all believing in the Broncos, though. I think we all have them at 6-3. Heading into the bye. Looking at it now, I think everybody would take that. Look at who they play. You tell everybody you got double the wins. You do the losses. Heading into the bye week, well, the Broncos at 6-3. The best part about these predictions is we're assuming both teams are completely healthy in every game.
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
I mean, when you look at it on the surface, it's coming off a 14-3 season, and now you're saying they're going to have 3 losses before the Week 10 bye week. And in my scenario, they're going to have 3 losses in the first 5 games.
Before we get to after the bye, as they head into the bye, What do you think is the identity of this Broncos team? Judging by what we've seen, the changes they've made, do you anticipate this is a balanced 6-3? This is another defensively dominant 6-3 where offense makes the plays late? Maybe offense is covering up for defense a little bit more. How do you see them?
I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, if I'm honest with you. I think the offense is going to look dramatically different, and I'm knocking on wood that J.K. Dobbins is healthy and that Jonah Coleman provides something in a run game. But I really think it's going to be different with Davis Webb, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. That is my optimism, that this is a totally different look and feel, that they're going to play a lot more games that are going to be 27, 24, 31, 28 than they are playing 17 to 13.
Versus dragging the team to the fourth quarter, wearing them down in the trenches.
Yes.
And then, Dante, kind of what do you think's is it an even split offense, defense, still defensive dominant, maybe offense, shootouts? Kind of how do you see them looking as the Broncos get to 6-3 going in the bye, as we all have them?
I think it'll be a closer, even split than what we saw last year. But if I were to lean one of the two, I'd lean with Chad that the offense is going to carry a little bit more. I just think a first-year play caller like Davis Webb is going to have a lot of success this year. The tape isn't quite out on him and what he likes to do yet. And I think this defense, it's really hard to have back-to-back successful seasons with the defense, and that defense was so good last year. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to be a top 3 unit again.
And John, I also think that it just has to shift at some point. We keep talking about the pass rush is 100% all-time elite. It is fantastic, and their corners are outstanding. But the defense does not translate into keeping teams from scoring points. The playbook is out there. And when you play a schedule full of good teams, good coaches, competent quarterbacks, they're going to move the ball and score. You're going to have to respond. So the style of play is going to have to shift for the franchise at some point because the book is out. We know that the defense does not consistently stop people enough to go through an entire schedule that looks like this with as many 3-and-outs as they've had the previous 3 seasons.
Hey, I was on with my Mark and Stoke yesterday, and I told them I had concerns about running backs out of the backfield, and you'd have thought they looked at me like I was crazy. They're not worried about that. I am. I'm with you, Chad. I think the running game, less 3-and-outs, less opportunities for the other team. I do think Jalen Waddle contributes. I think we get more out of Evan Ingram based on what I've seen last preseason. Because Davis Webb called the plays last preseason, and he utilized Ingram much more effectively than we really saw. So I'm kind of there. I think they're winning, but it's more in the 27-24, 23-27, 28-24. I think it's going to be more there because the offense is they have more talent now than they did.
And let's be honest, that's what we're all hoping for.
Please.
I mean, it would just be so much more fun.
It'd be so much more fun.
It would be so much more fun than tuning in Monday morning for Mike and Stoke and Stink coming in going, well, they won again, but
more close games again, but more definitively winning it. A 4-quarter performance versus a miracle.
Feeling confident and excited when the offense is on the field.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So we all have the Broncos at 6-3 heading into the bye. How do we think the Broncos will perform after the bye? Chad, Dante, and I get into that next.
Down 3 goals. The Avalanche refuse to quit. Colorado storms back from a 3-0 deficit, forces overtime, and wins it in thrilling fashion to eliminate Minnesota. Incredible! And punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals. Ball Arena erupted as the Avs completed an unforgettable rally for the ages. Now, the quest for the cup rolls on. Your Avs are just 8 wins away from Lord Stanley. DenverSports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says they can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. It's wild. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit a local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees extra, $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, Dr. Joseph Ramos is both a doctor and a lawyer, combining legal and medical expertise. He can help. Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. RamosLaw.com.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Muller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Pet owners and parents know the struggle. Every time dogs or kids go outside, they track mud right back in. If you're tired of scrubbing floors, you need Muddy Mat, the anti-mud mat that cleans paws and shoes before they ruin your home. Only Muddy Mat features thousands of ultra-soft microfibers that are 5 times more absorbent than ordinary mats, instantly trapping dirt and water to protect your floors. Put it by every door, under pet bowls, in the kitchen for spills. It even makes a perfect bath mat, and it's 100% machine washable, so cleanup is effortless.
Since getting Muddy Mat, I don't worry about what my dog gets into. His paws are clean the second he steps off.
No more mopping. I love it. Thank you, Muddy Mat. Right now, get a free medium Muddy Mat with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com. This offer is only available at buymuddymat.com. That's BUYMUDDYMAT.com. Don't wait. Get your free Muddy Mat today at buymuddymat.com.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will, because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietNutrition.com, and you've got to have these guys on your side, because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietNutrition.com, and there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the 2026 Broncos schedule. Here's John Davis and Chad Andrews.
Broncos schedule is out. If you get a chance, the video's up. We have not got to watch it. But it has Peyton Manning and his daughter flipping through the channels, and Aqib Talib and Jake Plummer We don't want to play the audio. We haven't heard it because when you have Aqib Talib or Jake Plummer, you don't know what words are going to be said. So you gotta we gotta test that before we would put any of that on air. But I bet it's a lot of fun. Broncos do a really good job of getting old popular players to come back and still be part. We saw it late in the year last year. But right now we're going through Dante, Chad, and I on who we think's going to win. Chad, each Broncos game, we're going game by game. We're at week 10, the bye week. All three of us have the Broncos at 6-3. We have them getting there different ways. Coming out of the bye, could there be a better team to come out of the bye? You got the Raiders at home. I cannot imagine a scenario. The Broncos don't lose this game. I think the Broncos win this game coming out of the bye. I get that the Raiders have a lot more talent. They signed all these guys. As you know, whoever wins free agency always goes to the Super Bowl. So the Raiders, they'll be better coached, far better coached. We like Clint Kubiak, but they've got a ways to go. Broncos win this game at home.
Yeah, no question about that. They have to. They have to sweep the Raiders. And it's 2 of the 5 games they absolutely have to win on the schedule.
Yeah. So we each got the Broncos 7-3 post bye, beating the Raiders. Dante, Broncos, Raiders.
I also have them winning, especially after me and you both predict they lose to Carolina. I think that sits poorly with them over the bye week, and they come out firing and take it out on a lesser than Vegas team.
Yeah, so we got the Broncos. We all got the Broncos at 7-3. Black Friday, Chad, Broncos at Steelers, 1 p.m. Mountain. So you and I will be hanging out on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. Broncos at Pittsburgh. Who do you got?
I think this is probably a stub your toe game.
This is your Carolina game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe they flip-flop, something like that, but this one is on a short week, and
it'll be on Friday, yeah.
You're coming off of a bye, and then you're probably getting what, is more than likely a relative layup against the Raiders. We'll see on that. I just don't know if they're back refocused, ready to go for that late season push. It's also where you might get a little lackadaisical going, well, I mean, it's the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Raiders again after we just beat the Raiders. So, we're going to steamroll everybody. And keep in mind, I also had them on a 4-game win streak going into the bye week. So they will have won 5 in a row at this point. I think it's a stub-your-toe game, and they fall to the Steelers.
Okay. I could see I see it. We do that a lot on our pregame, though. We'll talk about, just it's hard to expect this to keep rolling. Sometimes football just falls the way football falls, regardless of who you
Except
have.
last year when they won 57 in a row.
When they kept winning in a row. Dante, at Pittsburgh, Black Friday, who do you got?
I got them winning. I don't think I have the Broncos winning. Yeah. Sorry. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to repeat the success they had last year. I don't think Aaron Rodgers ends up finishing the season as a Steeler. I think they stubbed their toe early, and then I heard something on SportsCenter about them adding something in his contract where he could be released to go to a contender in that case.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think Will Howard is going to go up against his Broncos defense and get it done.
I got the Broncos against the Steelers. The Steelers just don't know right now, from where I sit now, just roster construction. It's all over the place. It's illogical. If it is Aaron Rodgers, that guy is a statue back there.
Yeah, he'll get killed.
He's just gonna get smoked. Remember Sean Payton's second game in Denver, Bo Nix's second game in Denver. They gave Russell Wilson the game ball, and he wasn't even. The Steelers did. He wasn't even active. He was injured. That shows the differences between these organizations. They were concerned about winning a Week 2 game with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Sean Payton was building for the future. I hope Russ and the Steelers enjoyed that game ball, because who would you rather be right now? I got the Broncos at 8-3. I see where you end up, how that could happen. Short week, East Coast. So you've got the Broncos at 7-4. After that game, we both have, Dante and I have the Broncos 8-3. Miami Dolphins, Jalen Waddle revenge game. I got the Denver Broncos beating a Miami Dolphins that clearly and wisely is in a rebuild.
Yeah, no question about this one. This is, again, one of the 5 games they absolutely have to win.
Dante.
I don't think Miami wants to win this game. I think they're going for as high of a draft pick as possible. I have the Broncos rolling in that one against Miami. At home as well for the Broncos. I just don't think Miami has much going for them at this point.
Yeah, if the Broncos lose this game, some real crazy things with the whole roster's injured, and the Dolphins will still try to lose at that point. So
maybe Sean goes for 70.
Maybe how about Vance Joseph revenge game right here, giving up 70. Marvin Mims caught a deep touchdown late in that game. At the Jets, boy. the Broncos and Jets really tore it up overseas last year and really gave the world some. It's probably why the Broncos aren't playing internationally this year. The Jets have added some pieces. Brees, whatever. Broncos go to New York and win.
Yeah, but after London last year and then in Jersey the year before, don't schedule anything on December 13th. The weather's probably going to be terrible, right, in New York. Don't travel to go to that game. Don't go to the Big Apple to see them play against the Jets. It's going to be another boring slog, but the Broncos will win.
What's the combined score of the last two Broncos Jets games? It's probably like 19-12 or something.
I think it was 12-9 2 years ago when Bo Nix got his first win as a Bronco, and then last year was what, 12-10?
Yeah, it was something like that.
So 24-19.
It's something
maybe?
like that. Just
Rockies Mets.
Yeah, terrible. Dante, I don't want to speak for you, but I have a pretty good idea who you got in this Broncos Jets game.
Well, I might surprise you.
Please don't.
No, I have them beating the Jets, but that one took me a while. That was one of the games where I really could not decide. I think the Jets are going to be much improved from a year ago. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be looking like they're on the right track. But it is the Jets, so who knows? They could completely go up in flames, and Aaron Glenn's fired by this game.
I like their draft. I thought they did well in their draft. I think they got some really nice pieces. I don't trust Aaron Glenn, and Geno Smith's throwing the football, so I think that helps the Broncos. Week 15, the Broncos head to Las Vegas. It's a familiar opponent with the Raiders. I still got the Broncos winning, but could this be a trap game? Is this a game they could lose, Chad?
No, they're not going to lose this game. They're going to win this game again because at this point, maybe Fernando Mendoza is starting and the defense will eat him alive. Again, it is one of the 5 games on schedule that they have to win.
I got the Broncos going from 10-3 to 10-4.
You got them dropping one against the Raiders.
Upset in Las Vegas. I just think that Mendoza, I'm not a big Mendoza guy. I think he's one of the worst Heisman winners in the last decade.
Don't say that to Chad. He's a big Mendoza defender right here. No, he doesn't hate him, but Chad's with you on that assessment.
I think it's one of those where not literally but figuratively he's getting carried off the field. Maybe it's his first career win right there.
Probably his first career start.
Yeah,
that'd be that as well.
Would you start him against this Broncos D?
Well, I mean, at least I won't speak for Chad. I don't think this Broncos defense is going to be as good as it was last year. I think they'll still be top 10, but closer to that 8-10 range, where I don't think other teams are going to be like, oh, well, we can't start him against Denver because that's just going to ruin his whole career. I don't think it's going to be one of those.
So I've got the Broncos at 11-3 right now, on track to match their record from a year ago. You both have them at 10-4?
Yep.
That's where we're at right there. So it's going to be pretty interesting as they head into these final 3 games. So I've got the Broncos probably sitting atop the AFC West. We all have them. If they're not at the top of the AFC West, AFC, they're right there. So it's going to be real competitive. Nice stretch there in the middle, but it gets real tough. Week 16, 17, and 18. Bills, Patriots, Chargers. Who do we think the Broncos win these games? If not, which ones do they lose? We make those predictions next.
You asked for it, you got it. Backed by popular demand, it's the Drives Brouhaha. Big social brouhaha. This spring, Zach and Phil are back on the road, bringing their party to you. First stop, the Golden Triangle in Denver. May 22nd from 2 to 6 at Schoolyard Beer Garden. There was quite a brouhaha. Come find out what the commotion's all about. Head to DenverSports.com/drive for more details.
Guaranteed to bring the brouhaha.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year to buy a home in Colorado. If you've been dreaming about getting into your first place, upgrading for more space, or downsizing for a simpler lifestyle, now is a smart time to start planning. And the first step is easy. Get pre-approved. With American Financing, you can get it done in 24 hours or less, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start shopping. Rates have been dropping, home prices are steady, and more homes are hitting the market. You could score the right home at the right price and lock in a monthly payment that fits your budget without stretching yourself thin. And unlike renting, every payment you make goes toward your future, not your landlord's. And here's a misconception we love to bust. You do not need 20% down. Many buyers purchase with as little as 3% down. So if home ownership is on your 2026 goals list, let's make it happen. Call American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans, at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 1823334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money. A lot. And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
We do, and you will too when you see Takori.
Handcrafted in California, Takori rings have design details you won't find in any other diamond engagement rings.
Including Takori's perfectly engineered crown and windows of light created by Takori's iconic crescent design.
It's the Takori touch, and you'll find it at Williams Jewelers, Colorado's only platinum Takori store. I'm Steve Williams.
I'm Shayna Williams.
And I'm Dylan Williams. You'll find all your Takori jewelry at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, along with one of the largest selections of certified loose diamonds in the state, all at the guaranteed best price.
So come, fall in love with the Takori ring she's always dreamed of.
Takori at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood,
Colorado's premier jeweler.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, where Colorado shines. On the corner of Bellevue and Broadway, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Want to enhance your landscape with a 100% natural product? Hi, I'm Roxy Medina, owner of Permagreen Organics. Permagreen Gorilla Hair and Shredded Red Cedar are both 100% natural cedar products. Permagreen Shredded Red Cedar comes directly from the debarking machines at lumber mills in Idaho, Washington, and Montana. That's where the best cedar is found. Permagreen Gorilla Hair is the same cedar, but it goes through another process where it is hammer milled and takes on a finer, mossy look. The color of these two products, of course, is natural. The wonderful aroma is natural as well. These products spread easily, lay down nicely, and hold up well in windy areas. They add a beautiful reddish-brown tint to the landscape. This year, go with the real deal. Buy Permagreen Gorilla Hair and Permagreen Shredded Red Cedar. You don't need a miracle, you need Permagreen.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's the Denver Sports Tonight schedule release special, breaking down the 2026 Broncos schedule. Here's John Davis and Chad Andrews.
We're going through this schedule right now. Chad, is there any you'd like to have back?
Maybe when I look back at it, but I think we'll be okay.
You think we'll be okay?
The numbers will all work out.
As we head into Christmas Day, home game, Chad right now is already figuring out how to finesse this to his family that he's got to spend all day at the Broncos Stadium. The Bills come to town. I'm not excited about this because it's Christmas Day. I'll be there. The last 2 years, Vance Joseph's defense cannot get off the field against Josh Allen and the Bills. It's a different head coach, but it's the same play caller. I don't anticipate getting 5 turnovers on the Bills again. I think the Bills come into Denver, and they beat the Denver Broncos on Christmas Day. Dante.
I got the Bills. I think they get it done, and I think they remember last year's playoff game. I think that they have new blood, and I think it was not to blame Sean McDermott, but I think anytime you switch over head coaches, it just rejuvenates the organization in general. And I get that you only promoted your offensive coordinator, but you have a new voice at the top regardless. And I think this is I feel like people say this every year. I think this is the year the Bills finally go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Man, you guys put me in a tough spot. Now I got to be the bad guy because it's going to be unanimous that we're all going to have a bad Christmas when the Bills come in here and win. But Josh Allen's going to be the best player on the field. He's not going to turn it over 5 times again. And I think he's going to have, a very serious point to prove at that point late in the season. There should be stakes on the line for his team in seeding at that point. And I think, it's not a playoff game, so they won't find a way to lose it. The Bills will win it.
And on top of that, you're talking about important for seeding and whatnot, important maybe for that MVP race too, because I think Josh Allen's going to have that kind of year.
Remember late last year when they went into New England and they were getting thumped and he brought them back in the second half? That you get that type of performance. And I'm going to say it again. Vance Joseph has absolutely nothing for this Bills offense. He cannot get his defense off. He cannot force a punt. And I will continue to probably feel that way. It's like the Nuggets Timberwolves. Until I see it, I got to believe it. The next week, the Broncos go to the Patriots, week 17. I got the Broncos. I think the Broncos, of all the games this year against good teams, this is the one I think they win the biggest. I think they go into Foxborough where they traditionally do play well. Broncos are not scared of this organization. Talk about a point to prove. We should have been in the Super Bowl. I think the Patriots are going to have a lot of distractions. I think the Broncos win this one. I think they win it by double digits.
This is my zag when everybody zigs go against the grain game because I think the Broncos should go in there and win and prove a point that they should have been the team in the Super Bowl, and I think most people are going to look at it that way and see it that way and expect it that way, and then weird stuff's going to happen and the weather's going to be bad and the Patriots are going to win.
Ugh. Dante, Broncos at Patriots.
I think the Broncos absolutely roll. I think the Patriots are in for a not great year, let's call it. I think they're going to go to that 8-9 kind of range. I don't think they're going to completely fall off a cliff, but I think the Broncos are going to show New England, hey, if Bo Nix was healthy last year, this would have been the Super Bowl, not you guys, or we would have been in the Super Bowl, not you guys. I have Broncos by, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I've got them thumping them, so... Heading into the final week, I've got the Broncos at 12-4. Chad, what do you have them at?
I have them right now at 10-6.
10-6. Dante,
11-5.
11-5. So you and I have them 12-4. You have 11-5. Chad, we'll start with you. Broncos host the Chargers week 18. Probably division potentially on the line.
Yeah, I think it will be on. I think actually it will be decided. And I think the Chargers will be sitting people in that game, and the Broncos will be playing for a playoff spot. And like I said earlier, as long as Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton are in this division going head-to-head, they're probably going to split 1-1 every year. And I had the Broncos losing in L.A. to the Chargers, and they'll win this game to clinch their playoff spot while the Chargers are sitting resting as the top seed, not the top seed, but the AFC West winner.
Dante.
I have this game being for all the marbles, and when I say that, I mean for the AFC West. And I'm with Chad. I have them splitting. I had the win in week 5. I have the Broncos losing in week 18, a big one. And the Broncos, this would make them a wild card team having to go on the road in the playoffs.
I think the Broncos drop this one. I hate the matchup with the Chargers. It's the Broncos under Sean Payton against Jim Harbaugh have yet to. They had a good first half Thursday night a couple years ago. That was very quickly resolved. Jesse Minter's gone again. And I'll continue to point that out. Justin Herbert just plays great in the regular season. This is not a playoff game. Maybe the Broncos lose this because they've clinched the division, and the Chargers, and they don't play for anything. But unfortunately, I have the Broncos dropping their last 2 home games, finishing 12-5. So you got them 11-6.
11-6.
I got them 12-5. Dante, where did you land?
I have 11-6 as well.
Okay, I ended up at 12-6 or 12-5. If you were to ask me just to point blank pick their wins, I'm going to go with 11-6. It's just kind of how it worked out when we went game by game. But I think 11-6 is about where they land this year.
And when I do take that step back in that 30,000-foot view, right, I kept saying over and over again, there's 5 games they have to win. They absolutely, positively have to beat the Raiders twice, have to beat the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Cardinals. Okay, so if you take those 5 wins, the rest of these games are going to be decided on the slimmest of margins. You can look at them as coin flips. And I don't care if you're looking at KC twice, the Chargers twice, you're looking at the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Jags, the Rams, whoever you want to look at. If they can go 6-6 in coin flip games, then they land at 11-6.
Yeah, and I have them sweeping the Chiefs but losing both to the Chargers. That probably ends up as a split. Like, it just kind of works like that. It's going to be fascinating to see what it looks like because I feel like they could go 11-6. That's 3 less wins than last year, but look a lot more ready-made for a legitimate, deep Super Bowl run.
Or be scarier as a playoff opponent with the offense you're putting out there.
Yeah, and so I don't think this is a Broncos team that, boy, they had a golden opportunity last year, and their coach screwed them. He screwed the players, he screwed the fans, screwed the ownership. Sean Payton going forward on 4th down really messed things up. I think
not paying attention to the weather forecast.
Yeah, and which, if he'd have listened, which we think sometimes he does listen to our pregame. But overall, I think this is a Broncos team that looks better. I don't think they falter, even though I have them losing 2 of the last 3. I don't think they falter late in the season quite like they have the last 2 years. And I think when they get to the playoffs, there's experience there. They're more settled down. And they are a legitimate threat to go to the Super Bowl. I could see this Broncos team wild card at 11-6 and going to the Super Bowl. We talked about it earlier. I think the 27-24, 31-28, those types of wins is a lot. I expect more of that than 1916 this year.
I think when I wake up on Monday every week of the season this year, I will feel better about the team than I did last year, regardless of the wins they compiled.
I could see that.
I think I will feel like I'm watching a better football team.
Yeah, if you drop one, if you go 31-28 to the Rams and it's a last-second field goal, I don't think you're too worried. If it's 40-10 to the Rams, then you're panicked. So I think that. I think each week it's one of those, okay, we dropped this one, we still got it. And every week, I think when the Broncos line up to play every week, the opponent is much more nervous about what can happen. If the offense is more formidable, that helps the defense. Biggest concern I do have between the 2 units, it's the last thing I'll ask you, is I am more concerned about the defense than the offense this year.
Ooh. I'm fascinated by what we're going to get from the offense. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I want to be excited about it. But, yes, I think there is a book out on the defense, and it's going to be very, very tough for that group against the schedule.
And we'll be doing our pre-games, and don't forget Week 7 when we have Dante Gomez do our behind enemy lines with the Cardinals. This was fun tonight, guys. We each got the Broncos going to the playoffs, hopefully the Super Bowl. Thanks for joining us, everyone. ESPN Radio's next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddleboards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly, near and far, without any glasses, thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at ColoradoRLE.com. Cutarelli Vision, RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. ColoradoRLE.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Denver at 720-637-9567, 720-637-9567. That's 720-637-9567. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationdenver.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
How about 60 seconds that'll make you actually feel good for a change? Hey, Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. You've heard me talk about the best free meal in Denver. And I had some listeners that had heard me talk about how I used to love to make brisket, but with outrageous beef prices, we just couldn't afford to do it anymore. We can't afford to feed that many people. Well, a guy, Barbecue Bob, showed up to one of our first and third Thursdays with a couple $1,000 of brisket so he could just help people. We're going to make free brisket here coming up in the next couple months for our best free meal in Denver. And then another guy, Fred, who runs the Ace Hardwares over on Gartrell Road and Arapahoe Crossing. He said, from now on, all your fuel you need for that barbecue is on me. And another guy, Bobby Hancock from IHOP. He fed our volunteers and gave thousands of dollars worth of gift certificates to our people that take advantage of the best free meal in Denver. If you want to help, you can. Just spread the word. It's the best free meal in Denver every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. And if you have any questions, just call us at 303-LAW 4040.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This is Sports Center.
Seahawks Patriots, game one of the season. I'm Q Myers. 7 months after defeating the Patriots to capture Super Bowl 60, the Seahawks will welcome Drake May and New England to Lumen Field for the 2026 NFL season opener on September 9th. It'll be the third time the teams in the previous season Super Bowl will meet in week one of the next season, and the second time they'll do so in the opener. The only other time came in 2016 when the Broncos beat the Carolina Panthers after beating them in Super Bowl 50 earlier in the year. A couple other notable games. Kenneth Walker, the MVP of the Seahawks Super Bowl run, who joined the Chiefs as a free agent this offseason, will return to Seattle for Sunday Night Football. That matchup will be on October 25th. And Malik Willis, the new starting quarterback for the Dolphins, is set to visit his former team, the Packers, on December 20th. The Dolphins also visit the Broncos on December 6th. That's a matchup that'll put against former star receiver Jalen Waddle, who they traded to Denver during the offseason. In the NBA playoffs, the NBA said that Thursday the officials were correct in not calling a foul on Jared Allen in the closing seconds of regulation of Game 5 between the Cavaliers and the Pistons in Detroit. Cleveland went on to win the game 117-113 in overtime and now can eliminate the Pistons coming up on Friday on ESPN Radio. For more scores and analysis, check out ESPN.com and the all-new ESPN app. Coming up, game night with Teron Davenport and me, Q Myers, here on ESPN Radio on the all-new ESPN app.
Coming up on the Friday edition of Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cole, Michelle Smallman, and me, Chris Canning. Anthony Edwards is facing a must-win Game 6. I'll tell you why I'm confident in him getting it done. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN Radio.
Here comes the blitz. May. Hennessy tries to throw. Ball comes out. Going the other way with it. Turning upfield. It's Chenowusu. And he scores. Touchdown. Seahawks.
And Allen reaches over the goal line and he is in. He went high side this time instead of low. And he punched it in for the 1-yard touchdown run. Mr. MVP with 4 total touchdowns.
Snap and hold. 42-yard kick from Aubrey. The Cowboys have won this football game. Butter, 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 butter. I don't know when they won one that felt like this.
Caleb, play fake, looking to throw, going deep, searching for DJ Moore, over the shoulder, catch, made, touchdown Bears! It's over at Soldier Field. The Iceman cometh, the Iceman taketh.
This is Game Night with Q Myers on ESPN Radio.
All that excitement, and the only thing that's happened is we officially have the 2026 NFL schedule release. All I want to do is go back to Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Butter, 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 butter. That's all I want to hear all night long. Put it on a reel. Butter, 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 butter. Every time we talk, that's all we're going to say. He's Teron Davenport. I'm Q Myers. It's Game Night here on ESPN Radio, the all-new ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80, and tune in. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com. TD Teron Davenport, he covers the Tennessee Titans like a glove for NFL Nation, ESPN's NFL Nation, and he's with us here on Game Night. And Teron, that must be music to your ears to hear football activities, even though it's just a schedule release drop today. But it feels a little pretty exciting, doesn't it?
Oh, man, it feels really exciting. And I tell you what also is exciting, being back in the saddle right next to you, riding passenger, man. It's a pleasure to do this. But you know, when you look at this schedule, it's amazing the way this league has found a way to make this attention on them 24/7, 365 days a year. Who would have thought a schedule release show would get better numbers than playoff games in other leagues? But that's more than likely what happened, because that's what happened last year.
Right, exactly. The NBA playoffs are going on. The Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. And we're talking schedules, baby, because that's what the NFL does. You're right. The NFL is an absolute machine, and they know how to do it. Again, it's Game Night here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We know how to do it, and we know how to do it like this.
Made you look. Game Night. Made you look. Made you look.
All right, TD, it's been a minute, but you know the routine, man. What caught your attention? What made you look?
Man, listen, it's only right to put this on the schedule release side of things. And I'll tell you what made me look, because, you know, the team I cover, the Tennessee Titans, they're in the AFC South. So I always pay extra attention to all the teams in the AFC South. And let me tell you something. October 4th, the Indianapolis Colts are going to London to play the Commanders at Tottenham Stadium. But guess what they're doing the following week?
Huh?
Turning around.